What's going on? Ellis in the building, and I represent Sensory Overload. And today, it's going to be a good day, alright? As you see, I got my cap on. Recently graduated with my bachelor's. You know what I mean? So that was a major milestone for me. So I'm going to represent and rock my cap. You know what I mean? I earned it. You dig? Long journey. But it's definitely worth everything that came with it. Second, shout out to the New York Knicks. Alright, me? I come from Connecticut, and I represent New York because I was raised in New York as well. So I rep the 203 and the 914, which is Westchester County, New York. So you already know where I'm from. We is hype that the Knicks won the title. So shout out to the Knicks. Hell of a season, hell of a playoff run. So that being said, the third good positive aspect to, I guess, what's going on around me, I got the fragrance haul. And the theme with this fragrance haul is Louis Vuitton Imagination. I have 2 hybrids and 2 tribrids, and that's going to be the common denominator within these fragrances, all right? Louis Vuitton Imagination, or newest version, #Imagine, clean, long-lasting, fresh, versatile. Compliment again, it's just everything checks all the boxes, you feel me? And that's why it's one of my 10 out of 10 favorite fragrances, all right? So the first one I got for you, this one's a Tribrid. Once I saw like it being marketed and promoted, I said, yeah, I gotta get my hands on this one. So this is gonna be inspired by, well, Louis Vuitton Imagination, Creed Aventus, Baccarat Rouge 540. This fragrance right here is going to be called Imagine Casino Elixir. Imagine Casino Elixir. Peep these notes because it's like a paragraph just to read them. Cassis, apple, Calabrian bergamot, citron, Sicilian orange, pineapple, grandiflora, jasmine from Egypt, saffron, aromatic notes, pink pepper, Ceylon, cinnamon, Tanzanian neroli, Nigerian ginger, Chinese black tea. You also have birch, bitter almond from Morocco, resins, ambroxans, ambergris. You also have amber, mossy notes, patchouli, gag wood, cedar, alabanum, vanilla, and musks. That's a plethora of notes, all right? Like I said, that's like a paragraph worth of notes right there. So, if you don't know, Casino Elixir is one of Dua's best creations. That right there is going to always be that Baccarat Rouge 540 and Creed Aventus combo, and that is like 10 out of 10. And I'm using those numbers loosely, but when you smell it, you're like, nah, I get it. That those two blend well. We will see what imagination done to this, all right? But if you ever was to introduce somebody to Dua, Casino Elixir is always a fragrance that I would recommend. That is found to be another one where it's universal, where it's kind of like it's going to check every box that you have, and it's definitely going to garner those compliments that you most likely desire when you purchase that new fragrance, all right? So let's get our first whiff. Here we go. I like it. So this is going to smell like an enhanced version of Casino Elixir. It smells brighter. You smell the imagination. You smell the pineapple. The pineapple doesn't smell as juicy as it typically does when it's just the Casino Elixir, duo. But you do get that. The Baccarat Rouge 540 is present off the rip. So that's your bitter almond. That's your resins, all right? Well blended. Well blended. Definitely smells good in air, and on skin, I know it's going to shift. And that's where you're going to see what really stands out. But in the air, the Tribrid is actually 33.3% each. Like, it's just well blended. You get a little bit of everything, and they complement each other well. Granted, imagination is elevating it. It's brightening it up, okay? So that's what it's doing. Definitely a date night vibe. Definitely date night clubbing. You feel me? You can definitely wear this any season. All right. I would wear this more so if it was summertime, just off the initial impression, more like the evening when it's cooler. When the weather kind of, that nice 70-degree evening, the sun is setting. This is when this will shine. All right. It don't need to be worn at 95 degrees. I think you need something more citrus forward. Overall, good fragrance. So inspired by Baccarat Rouge 540. Creed Aventus, and Louis Vuitton Imagination. What I have for you is Imagine Casino Elixir. Number 2. So number 2 is going to be a combination of Porthole from Lumari and Louis Vuitton Imagination. So Porthole is a real good fragrance. I find it to be vacation in the bottle, the splash of professionalism. All right, it's bright, it's juicy because of the passion fruit there, some of the citruses. All right, it has a bit of sweetness, but the caramel note doesn't really stand out to me. What stands out to me is that it's a balance of fruity and aquatic. And that's what I like about it. And it tends to be a compliment monster. All right, so I want to see how imagination impacts this particular fragrance. So, what I'm realizing, imagination is being used to freshen and brighten up fragrances. I mean, I guess that's what it is, right? It's like a freshy, citrus aromatic fragrance. So that's what it's doing. It's elevating this and it's making it more effervescent, all right? So you're still going to get that aquatic, fruity aspect as well. Doesn't smell super woody, okay? This one right here is going to have notes such as Calabrian bergamot. You have citron. You have Sicilian orange, pineapple, passion fruit, Ceylon, cinnamon, Tanzanian neroli, white flower. You have ginger, iodine, Chinese black tea, ambroxan, caramel. You also have some gaiac wood, modern woods, alabanum, and musk. All right, so there's a lot of different notes in here. And really, just off that blast, you're getting the fruitiness, the balance of the aquatic, and just a nice citrus uplifted fragrance. In a nutshell, a good office banger, right? This is gonna be good for the office, good for the warm weather. This may be a hot take, but at the moment, if you got Starboard, if you got Porthole, you do not need this hybrid. It seems to be a bit more dominant towards that fragrance. And I feel like since that's being the case at the moment, you really don't need both. So this was gonna also lean Lumari Porthole forward with a bit of that brightness from the imagination. Doesn't make this a bad fragrance, far from that. It does enhance it to a bit, but you know what I'm saying? If you have one over the other, you'd be just okay. So, inspired by Porthole by Lumari and Louis Vuitton Imagination, what I have for you is Starboard of Imagination. Number 3. So number 3 is going to be a tribrid of 3 Louis Vuitton fragrances. You'll have Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomad, Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim, Louis Vuitton Imagination. This fragrance right here is going to be called Imagine Aged Leather Gone Swimming. Imagine Aged Leather Gone Swimming. Raspberry, Mandarin Orange, Sicilian Cedar, Calabrian Bergamot, Nigerian Ginger, Ceylon, Cinnamon, Black Tea from China, Tanzanian Neroli, Ambrox, got some ambergris, benzoin tears, incense, and oud wood. This is going to be considered a citrus, spicy, oriental fragrance, all right? So with this fragrance right here, you got the Afternoon Swim and the Imagination. That's going to be citrus forward, uplifting summer vibes. Then you're going to get this contrast from the Ombre Nomad. So I'm interested in seeing how this turns out. Smells like money. Not the literal sense. It smells like a CEO, like boss vibes, like the type of person that wears a suit but makes sure that they got the cufflinks. You feel me? It's just intentional. You know what I mean? Nice leather shoes that shined up. You feel me? Like that has more than one suit in their closet, multiple suits. Someone whose presence makes a presence. You know what I mean? Like they don't need to be the loudest in the room, but the respect is there. Nothing needs to be said. Like this is a mature, masculine fragrance. I think this one right here is going to be good for the fall weather and cool weather because the Ombre Nomad is what's hitting. So you're going to get the oud wood, the incense, and actually the raspberry. All right. You can tell that this is being boosted up a bit by those more citrus forward fragrances, the Imagination, the Afternoon Swim. That's what's making this lively because you already know this is a bit darker. This is a bit heavier. Fall, winter, also date night vibes. This has a little bit of like the sex appeal to it that it kind of keeps you coming back and wanting to whiff. It does smell good in the air. It does. Gotta clear my nostrils. I'm like, let me get a sniff. But yeah, good fragrance, a bit more mature out the batch. You know what I'm saying? A bit more mature, a bit more intentional, and not as universal. But not a bad Tribrid. Not a bad Tribrid. So inspired by Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomad, Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim, and Louis Vuitton Imagination. What I have for you is Imagine Age Leather Gone Swimming. Last but not least, I'm excited about this because these are two Louis Vuitton fragrances on their own that to me are top tier, like 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm using those numbers again, but I got it. You know what I mean? That's why I bought it. So I thought that these two combined would just be the duo that I didn't know I needed. So it's going to be inspired by Louis Vuitton Imagination and Louis Vuitton Pacific Chill. What I got for you is Imagine Chilling by the Pacific with that citrus musk pheromone. Peep the notes. Calabrian bergamot, citron, lemon, Sicilian orange, mint. You're also going to have some black currant, coriander, apricot, Ceylon, cinnamon, Tanzanian neroli, May rose, dates, basil, carrot seeds, Nigerian ginger, fig, Chinese black tea, ambroxan, ambret, pheromone-charged citrus musk accord, guaiac wood, and alabanum. Let's see. Oh, that's a good blast. Atomizer be hitting, man. I just got hit with like mad different citrus notes, like fresh squeezed oranges. But then I got hit with mint. Like this blast of mintiness came, this kind of smacked me. Very realistic citruses. Some of it smells like a nice fresh squeezed juice, not the what you buy in Minute Maid like you got to squeeze it yourself. You know what I mean? It also smells a bit like the rind as well. It's like a 50-50 balance. It's not Pacific Chill for it, and it's not Imagination for it. Really, this is like a citrus bomb. Try to think of how to explain it. Very safe. Definitely warm weather appropriate. Office appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Inoffensive. Like, you ain't got to worry about that with this one. Now, with that citrus, with that pheromone citrus, hang on, pheromone charged citrus musk accord. I ain't never heard that note before, so I kind of stuttered. But with that one, I'm interested in seeing how that hits. On skin, I could get a bit of that apricot that I'm looking for, and I'm, so familiar with when it comes to the Pacific Chill. That's kind of what just intrigues me about that fragrance. It's like the sweetness of the dates. A very citrus dominant fragrance. I'm going to be getting some spins out of this during the summer. Definitely hot weather appropriate. Gym. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that you got to deal with being around a lot of people where you got to be very mindful of what you're wearing, this would be suitable. All right. So I gave you 4 fragrances, all that have the common denominator of Louis Vuitton Imagination being incorporated into the fragrance. And honestly, this is what I'm going to say. My favorite one out of the 4 that we chose is going to be Imagine Casino Elixir. Imagine Casino Elixir. The reason being, even though, Creed Aventus and Baccarat Rouge may be a little bit played out in the fragrance community, this one just has that factor. It has that ability just to garner those compliments where it's seductive, it's sexy enough for date night, bright enough to be universal and kind of multi-season whenever, and kind of almost being signature scent worthy. You know what I mean? I just like this one the most. The one that's most age appropriate, you see I got the gray going in. You know what I mean? This one right here. It's going to be the Imagine Age Leather Gone Swimming. That one just screams masculinity, but also is a reflection of maturity. You know what I mean? I do see this being a 30s and up kind of vibe, because that Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomad touch and the incense in the oud and the wood, it just kind of matures this fragrance, but in a great way, in a very good way. And yeah, those are my top two, I guess. Um, I'm surprised I liked the other one. The mature one is different. I'm used to a freshie, but regardless, all four is worth getting your nose on. I love the concept. All right. So, where did you pick up recently? You see my last four pickups. You know what I mean? Again, shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to any college graduates, high school graduates, whatever the case may be. If you're just achieving milestones, congratulations. And until next time, make sure you smell your best and you stay blessed. I'll talk to you later. Peace.